All right, welcome back, folks. It's Jared and Bob. It is Sarcasm Speaks that you're listening to, and this is it. This is what you've all been waiting for. This is our yearly end of the year wrap up, New Year's Eve kind of thing. We're recording on a Wednesday. This is going to come out tomorrow on Thursday for us. So today, when you guys are listening, it is New Year's Eve, right? Yeah, New Year's Eve is on Thursday. Yeah. So that would have been awesome if I messed that up right off the bat. So if you've been listening to the show long enough, New Year's Eve has a very special place in our hearts. And it was actually one of the first shows we recorded, right? Was that episode 1? Was New Year's Eve?
I don't know.
I mean, we first started recording in that December of 2018, so this also marks 2 years. I've come a long way, and I think one of our first, definitely one of our first 3 episodes was why I hate New Year's Eve, or New Year's Eve sucks or something like that. So we did that, and then obviously we did it last year when we went on a rant. So this year, we're back at it again, and we're gonna run through the year because 2020 has been one hell of a year, and we just made it through 90 seconds, so I can swear now. I was really gonna try and make it through that so we didn't fuck up the YouTube.
I should just not speak in the first 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I can do to even remember that.
I was literally just watching the timer as I was talking, being like, don't swear. And I made it. I was gonna say fuck up, but I said mess up. So you're welcome, guys, and you're welcome, YouTube, I guess, for fucking bowing to your bullshit. Whatever. So, before we get into that, sorry, I misspoke. Getting ahead of myself here. I had a couple other things to cover before we get over the year review stuff. Oh, and don't worry, too. We're also going to be putting together the death pool, too, because that's coming soon.
Yep.
That comes with 2020. Shout out to Sexy Chris. He already sent me his. So we'll share that. We're going to get Jones back on for that. And anybody else is listening and wants to throw their name in the hat on the death pool too, just send me a message, either on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Just slide in the DMs or send me a text, whatever works best for you. So we got that coming down the pipe too. But before we get there, we had a COVID relief bill that came out. We talked about that before. On one of the shows last Sunday, I think, the House voted to move it to $2,000, and it got to the Senate, and the Senate said nope. They killed it. So now people are flipping out, and everyone hates Mitch McConnell, which I thought everyone hated him anyway.
I mean, I hate him just on appearance.
Yeah.
He's disgusting to look at.
He's awful. It's the only thing that I agree. Literally, the one and only thing I agree with AOC on in this world is that the leadership of Washington needs to get the fuck out. She's come out and said that she's gone after Pelosi, her own party people, and said that everyone is way too old. You guys all need to go, which I can 100% get down with.
Yeah, but then you think about why she's saying that, and then it's like, oh right, you're the fucking worst.
Well, yeah, no, she does suck. But if I'm gonna nitpick and cherry pick, I'm gonna cherry pick that one thing that she said and agree with her because I think we all know I think there should be term limits in fucking all Congress and all that shit, but there should also be age limits. There's no reason a fucking 80-year-old person should be governing a country that they don't even know what Facebook is. Remember that a couple of years ago when they were doing, Facebook was in trouble and they were in Congress? One of the congressmen was like, so what exactly is this? He legitimately did not know what Facebook was. And you're in charge of the country. The way that everything changes, if you fall behind in the real world, you gotta get the fuck out of there, man. If you don't know you don't even know what Facebook is, you don't know how Facebook works, you can't be in charge of making laws and shit. So I'm sorry. Like maybe I'm just a dickhead, but that's just how I feel.
Do you know when your mother gets to retire?
Never.
Okay, fair. But so my parents know when they get to retire.
Yeah.
Like, can't wait.
Yeah.
Like especially now, it's like in the final stretch.
Yeah.
Got to get ready to retire. Can't wait to retire. And my father's like, he goes, yeah. So because he got laid off almost 20 years ago now, so it's like he had put in like 20 years and got like laid off.
Yeah.
After that, it kind of like delayed his retirement a little bit, so he has to wait till like 67. Why the fuck do we have politicians at 80 when people who are like 62 can't wait to retire?
Everyone agrees.
Can't wait to retire.
Everyone agrees like the general retirement age is somewhere between 62 and 68. And now there's some people that whatever their job is, they're comfortable working until 75, and that's cool. But
and what do a lot of people do? They retire, but then they take like a part-time job.
They get another job, yeah.
Just doing like something where they interact with other human beings.
They go work the door at Walmart.
They don't make the fucking decisions for the fucking country.
They fucking clip your receipt on the way out the door at Walmart. You know what I mean?
Or on your way in, they say, "Hey, how you doing today?"
Welcome to Walmart.
I can't believe someone gets paid to do that.
Yeah.
But we have politicians making decisions for the country.
Yeah.
Many, 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 many years after not only are they eligible to retire,
yeah,
even more years after they have the means to retire.
Right.
Because none of them are fucking really hurting for money.
No. So the other thing too is Japan actually does this. They have a forced retirement age. I don't know whether it's 68 or 70, but it's like somewhere in that range where you have to retire. Like you're not allowed to work past that age. And as much as I don't like government interference to that level, telling you like when you can and can't work, that in particular, like I kind of don't hate that.
I don't know if I hate that either, because it's like you know you know ahead of time.
Right.
Like if
like
you grow up knowing it,
everyone knows at 70 you're done working.
Like if they decided tomorrow that anyone, or I guess so effective January 1, anyone that was born in 1993 or later, so that means anyone who turns 18 this year, is forced to retire at age 70. Period.
Yeah. And now
what that does?
I don't know the laws in Japan. It might be you might be allowed to get a part-time job after that.
You probably can. But it forces you to take a little bit of accountability over your fucking actions.
Right.
Get your shit in order.
Right.
Have your fucking know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Because even though it's the government stepping in, it still forces people to choose wisely.
Right.
And then people are gonna say, "Oh, that's not fair to the old people." Well, guess what? If you fucking know, like if you're 18 years old and you say, because you can't do it to people who like even us, because a lot of people our age aren't even set up for this shit.
Right.
But if you tell people that are turning 18 or maybe younger, I don't give a fuck. That
also turning 18 this year would be 2003.
Oh fuck.
Not 1993.
No, not at all. That's 28. Fuck. Shoot me in the fucking head.
Yep. Gladly.
Yes. I was just say, if that's the punishment, I'll just keep making errors. Right, so 2003 or whatever.
Yeah.
But you have 52 years to figure it out.
Exactly.
And if you like do shit like I don't know. It's like I feel like it forces people's hands. It forces people to fucking think about being fiscally responsible. Like maybe not going to NYU to study theater, which is gonna put you a minimum of 280 grand in debt minus what you put into it.
Right.
for a job that probably doesn't exist.
Yep. No, man, they're gonna go to Hollywood and make it.
Well, no, like how's Broadway doing? Is it doing good?
Yeah, right now business is booming.
Yeah, right. It is, right? Because all the theaters are open
Yep.
in NYC, in New York City. You can do things.
Yep.
That's what I mean.
It's the mecca for everything, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like it almost like potentially force colleges to figure it out, because if you did something like that, it would force people to maybe. You know what? People are too stupid. They can't think.
No, they're gonna
I rescind the previous statement.
Yeah.
People are gonna get a fucking psych degree.
Yep.
Over 4 years, maybe get a master's in it.
Yeah.
And then find out that they're just gonna kind of like work in insurance.
Yeah.
And make more money.
There's more and more. We're totally getting away from a 2020 episode, but I don't give a fuck. We'll take as much time as we want. So, I'm actually, now that we're talking about it, I am kind of for specific colleges for specific majors and then changing prices accordingly for that. Because I know we talked about this before. If you guys have been listening long enough, you know how much I hate the fucking education system. But I had said once before to change the majors, the price of the degree to match the average salary in the industry. So if you want to go to, let's just pick one college, let's use fucking BU. So Boston University. It's, let's say if you want a degree in accounting, it's going to cost you $75,000 a year. And if you want a degree in psychology, that's going to cost you $35,000 a year, because the price of the degree matches the expected average salary of that of the major. Because across the board, I think, what is BU now, like 70 grand or something?
I don't even know. What
60 or 70 grand a year. So you have someone that's gonna, what's 6 times 4? You have someone that's gonna be $240,000 in debt.
I bet you it's more than that, because when I was coming out of high school
with a psych degree, they can't do anything.
12 years ago, NYU had broken the $60,000 mark.
Yeah.
I got to imagine we're looking at 70 plus.
Yeah, probably. But then you had made a good point, and I forget what it was. Maybe you can reignite it. But it was something along the lines of like, you can't do that because then colleges would then lose money, and they would pick favorites to market and things like other things would happen. It was something along the lines of what you said.
I don't even remember.
But you made a really good counterpoint to it, and I was like, yeah, I remember being like, yeah, you know what, that's good. It was so good I can't remember it because it wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, if you did specific colleges, so like say BU just becomes a college for health and science, so you want to go get a degree in molecular biology, cool, you go to BU, and then they keep their blanket fucking whatever $80 million a year that it costs to go there. But then you get a school like Bridgewater that maybe they only produce degrees in criminal justice and psychology and education, but it only costs $30,000 a year to go to Bridgewater.
Well, back in the day, it used to be like that.
Yeah.
Like Bridgewater was an education school.
Right. Like, I don't see why we can't just kind of go back to that. Like, you have a college.
Because colleges are too selfish.
Yeah, because they want more money.
They just take whoever.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. No, we'll create a degree in that.
No, but it's like, it's one of those things. Say you took, like, I'm trying to think in the area. What? Are there any public colleges around here besides Bridgewater? What else is public or state?
Dartmouth, UMass Dartmouth.
Okay, we'll use those two. So, like, say UMass Dartmouth was the STEM school,
right?
And then Bridgewater was like the humanities and education school.
Yeah.
Well, anyone that was going to become a teacher that was going to go to Dartmouth probably just goes to Bridgewater.
Right.
It's not like someone's like, oh, I'm going to go to UMass Dartmouth. Oh, what do you want to be? I want to be a teacher.
Yeah. It's
like, oh, well, this is a STEM school. Okay, cool. I'll be a biologist now. It's like, right. No one does that.
Right. No. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's a way. I don't know. There's so many different fucking things.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah. But putting in that retirement thing, I think would be big. Mostly just because it would stop the fucking politicians from being in Congress for 50 years.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Like, Joe Biden has been in politics for 48 years.
Well, even like we were watching that thing last night, and Kamala Harris like mentions like, oh, when you were in favor of busing, I go, how fucking long has he been there? Like,
yeah, 50 years. He's been there for
like,
50 fucking
busing?
years.
That's like a long time ago.
Yeah.
For one guy, like it was fairly recent, but like for one guy that's still alive and still in politics and actually just got a new job.
You got a promotion.
He just got a promotion.
Yeah.
That's a fucking long time ago.
Yeah. Because that would have been, so 50 years ago would have been, what, the 70s?
1970, exactly.
Yeah, so like, apparently there was still busing in the 70s, I think. I think it went through the 80s.
Yeah, I think it went way longer than it should have.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, it was like integration only happened in like the early 60s.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, it's like they had to integrate first, and that had to travel.
Right.
And then they had to fuck it all up continuously for the next whatever many years.
Yeah.
And they still don't have it right.
Yeah.
Better, but.
So this dude is 78 years old. When was 78 years ago? 19.
I don't know. I was off by 10 years.
So let's just go 80. What's 80? 1940. So he was born in 1942.
Ah, World War II.
This guy was alive for World War II. This guy was alive.
Couldn't serve, but.
During World War II, and he is running the country. There's like 3 people left in the world that have fought in World War II. Like, what the fuck? Like, my grandfather fought in World War II and he was born in 1916. Like, he would be 104 right now. And this fucking guy was alive during World War II. Not born during World War II, like, he was alive. He was 4 years old, 4 years old during World War II. And he's now the president. So that's cool. That's pretty sick.
Well, I like the options. Like the last 3 options was like Trump, Bernie, and Biden.
At least Trump was born after World War II.
But aren't they all like 75 plus?
Very shortly.
Yeah, but I would say aren't they all like 75 plus?
Oh yeah.
That's so bad.
And then fucking what's her face? The Pelosi. She's like 9,000 years old. I think she was born in like 1940 or something.
Yeah, wasn't she like
I think she is actually 80.
Like King Tut?
Yeah. One of my favorite lines. That was the other thing. So we watched Death to 2020 last night on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely gotta watch it. They come out, and my favorite line from the whole thing is they're talking about like the primaries for the Democratic primaries, and they introduce everyone, and they're like, oh yeah, and we have Civil War hero Joe Biden, and then going against his grandfather, Bernie Sanders.
Anarchist grandfather.
And I was dying. It is pretty fucking hilarious. Shout out to literally everybody that told me to watch that. I got like fucking 3 texts from 3 different people within 1 hour of each other, all telling me to go watch it. So I did, and didn't disappoint. I will say the first half is hilarious.
Yeah, it got very not funny.
Yeah, the second half got very not funny.
And I couldn't pay attention either.
But the first half, I literally could not stop laughing. It's only an hour long, so if you got an hour, fucking check it out. But yeah, because it went from shitting on everybody and everything to then it started getting like political, talking about like Black Lives Matter and then like how much Trump sucks. And It's like, all right, before you guys were doing really good and now you're just taking one side. Like before you were shitting on everything, now you're just shitting on one side.
Well, the other thing,
you're losing me.
Well, the other thing that's hard is like the 2 of the biggest things of the year is the virus, which pisses everybody off, so that's easy to make fun of.
Right.
But then it was the election.
Right.
Where you're probably just going to make fun of one side, most likely.
Yeah.
And then the Black Lives Matter stuff, which there's nothing all that funny about any of that.
No, there isn't. There's really no jokes to be had there.
No, I don't know what the punchline to that would be.
Nope. So so yeah, like, but give it a chance. That, like I said, the first half is gold, like literal fucking gold. It is so good, but it's worth it. So that's that Death to 2020 on Netflix. Check it out. So we had the House that voted no. We got that. Oh, this is great. Literally just before we got on air, I was thumbing through Instagram, and Joe Rogan posted something today, and it is a headline from the New York Post, and it says, COVID-19 bill started a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures.
What?
So let me read the caption that Joe Rogan wrote in here. That is just, he just screenshotted the headline and put it in, and then he wrote in the caption. So here we go. Seriously, how weird is it that they slipped this into a COVID-19 relief bill? I have a feeling 2021 is going to be strange as fuck. And then he quotes this is a quote from the article. President Trump's signature Sunday on the $2.3 trillion COVID-19 relief bill and government funding started a 180-day countdown for the Pentagon and spy agencies to say what they know about UFOs. The provision received very little attention, in part because it wasn't included in the text of the 5,593-page legislation, but as a committee comment attached to the Annual Intelligence Authorization Act, which was rolled into the massive bill. So they snuck this thing in there where they were like, yeah, so we're not going to put it in the actual bill, but like Appendix B is going to have this tucked in there, where you guys have 180 days now to tell everyone what you know about UFOs. How fucking weird is that? And no one's going to talk about it.
No one's going to talk about it.
No one is going to talk about it, except for, thank you, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is the national treasure. He is great, because he is not going to let bullshit get by. And he saw that one little thing, and he's like, all right, let's go. So we're going to know by June, or I should say by July, by the end of June. But you know what? By Independence Day. By the 4th of July, by no later than, I should say, because they could release it like next week. But by no later than the 4th of July of 2021, we will know everything that the government knows.
Just wait until
about UFOs.
Just wait until Friday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Friday news dump.
Yeah, it'll be whatever the last Friday in June is.
Or
it'll be like June 27th at
or
4
even
o'clock
it'll,
on
know what it'll
Friday.
be? The next time Trump says something really fucking dumb, like real dumb,
Yeah.
they'll just kind of like casually slip that out because no one will be paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. Or they'll wait for when Joe Biden dies of coronavirus in March, and then they'll release all the information on UFOs. And that, so then, what do we want to call him? Führer Kamala will then come up and say, well, we have this existential threat of coronavirus, and now we have a physical threat of UFOs, so now you all need to bow down and listen to everything that I say. So that's shit's gonna get weird. I love that. I love that people are also like, 2021, here we go. All you're gonna do is flip a fucking page on a calendar, and now everything is magically gonna change. You're gonna rip one piece of paper off of a fucking book of pages of something, and now magically your life is gonna get better.
So Chasing Scratch is a podcast I listen to about a couple golfers, and like periodically they do what they call the OFP, which is the overall feeling of positivity. And their overall feeling of positivity is whether they'll get to scratch or not.
Yeah.
What is your OFP that 2021 will be any better than 2020?
0.
I'm actually gonna go negative. I think it's gonna be worse. And I'm not kidding. And I'm not saying that to be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think it's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
And the real key to all of this, so the vaccine's rolled out.
Right.
Cases are like through the fucking roof.
Right.
yet things seem to be going backwards.
Right.
Well, logic would say, oh, well, the cases are going up, that's why we're moving back.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. What that means is we're going to have people who are recovered at an incredible rate.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have people who are vaccinated on a wide scale.
Right.
And they're going to try to continue
Yep.
what they're doing now.
Yep.
Despite people getting vaccinated, despite people recovering from the virus.
Yep.
And I don't know if Americans have the balls to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, and it's like I'm starting to see it with the kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the kids are the greatest barometer, but they could be a pretty, I don't want to say pure, but like a pretty accurate barometer.
Mm-hmm.
Because like politicians and adults and people with agendas and whatever, and they're like, oh, well, if you've already had the virus, like, you gotta get vaccinated. You gotta,
yeah,
or whatever. The kids look at it like, dude, I've already had the virus. Like,
yeah,
what am I gonna do?
right.
Like, what's gonna happen?
Right.
And it's like a girl I know from the gym. She's going to Miami this weekend with like a bunch of her friends, and
Yeah.
people are like, oh my god, she's going to Miami. I'm like, yeah, she already had COVID.
Yeah.
Had it, got sick, passed it.
Right.
And then people's immediate reaction is like, oh.
Yeah.
They
Well,
stop caring.
Well, that's like the general consensus is because because even the idiot average American understands how viruses work. Once you get it and you get over it, you can't get it again.
That's not how it's being portrayed right now.
Right, because
They still want you to get the
because
vaccine.
they want to control the population. But this is like what you were alluding to is will people step up and say, you go fuck yourself?
Well, it's just like you wonder if, and like I don't even know how you need to get there, but if the cases continue to surge, like continue,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are going to have either antibodies or vaccinations.
Right. And I had said this before in a previous episode that if the cases go through the roof and we have a vaccine, that's actually a good thing because then we reach herd immunity faster. Like we want more people to get it and then get over it. We don't want people to get it and then die. I don't wish death on anybody really. There might be a few people, but
Myself.
yeah. But like you want people to get it and then get over it because now those people don't need the vaccine. So now the people that need the vaccine, there's more. It's supply and demand. Like the demand goes lower for the vaccine and the supply can be distributed appropriately. You know what I mean? Like that's how you reach herd immunity. And I think it's going to come pretty quick. Like if cases are legitimately fucking through the roof right now, and now we have mass production or what's coming close to mass production of a vaccine, because we have 2 of them now that are out there, and I think there's 2 more in the wings that are waiting for FDA approval. It's like, all right, well, fuck, man. Like we might be done with this shit by the summertime.
Well, you think that.
Yeah.
But the world has hedged their bets.
Yes.
Because you know what's coming from England right now?
A new strain.
A new strain that's 70% more transmissible.
Yeah. I don't even know how they calculate that.
It's made up, but
Yeah, it's more. How do you know it's more transmissible? Like it's in the air. It's in the air. Like if you get coughed on and someone has it, like you're probably gonna get it. It's like, well, no, it's 70% more transmissible. So that means that our current standards of being within 6 feet for 15 minutes, well, now you can be within 18 feet for 10 minutes before you get it. And it's like, what? But you guys are just making shit up now. Like, you guys just have fucking numbers that are fucking, don't even make any sense. So, it's just stupid. And more transmissible, we said this the other night, more transmissible doesn't mean more deadly. And again, cases are like skyrocketing, but deaths are not. So, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with cases going through the fucking roof if deaths do not follow. Because, like I just said, we want, in order to hit herd immunity, we want people to get it and get better and then the people that haven't had it go take the vaccine. Or don't, whatever, just wait until you get it, and then get better. Like, that's how this shit works. So, I don't fucking know. What do I know? I'm just a fucking idiot.
But that's my, and hey, that only pertains to this. That doesn't even pertain to the other bullshit that's gonna happen in the world. Which I don't know what will or what won't.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Maybe 2021 is the year that finally Mount St. Helens just explodes and we all just go away.
That would be incredible.
The super caldera under the fucking mountain in Montana.
Just fucking. Is there one under fucking Mansfield, Mass? That would be great.
There was, I think it was last year. I think it was either last year, or this past year, I should say, or the year before, where, because we definitely talked about it on air, that they were talking about like the potential of Mount St. Helens erupting, and their solution to that was to drill holes in the side of the mountain and let the lava like flow out of the hole, because it's like the pressure is building or whatever, so they don't want the fucking massive volcano to explode because it would wipe out the entire west coast, and I think it would fuck shit up over here on the east coast too, like we'd have like clouds of ash and shit. So they were like, I don't know, how do we fix this? And then some genius fucking scientist with a degree from BU that cost him $1 million a year said, I don't know, how about we just drill holes in the side of the volcano and let the lava leak out and reduce the pressure? So that was their plan. I don't know if they actually like followed through with it or attempted to follow through with it, but
I got a couple cordless drills if I can join the
yeah.
if I can join the volcano drilling team.
Yeah. How big of a hole do we need? What do you think? That's a 3/16? Is that gonna be big enough?
What kind of bit? Do I need a mason bit?
Yeah.
I think I've got mason bits.
Yeah, do I need a metal drilling bit? Am I gonna have to drill through any metal that's in the ground? I don't know. What are we talking about here? I volunteer as tribute. Oh man. Well, that brings us to the year in review. Here it is. Here we are, folks. We did it. We made it through 2020. Everyone was bitching, complaining, whining, crying the entire year. Oh, this year is the worst year ever. Well, you did it. And we're gonna run through everything that happened this year. So, going back to January of 2020, when we all thought that 2020 was going to be our year, rolling into January 1st, and we were like, you know what, fuck 2019, 2019 sucked, 2020 is going to be about me, 2020 is my year, I'm going to grab life by the horns, and I'm going to take it, and I am gonna rule 2020. Well, that was very short-lived.
Yeah, how's that all working out for you?
Because we kicked January off with the fear of going into World War III. That was January's theme, was World War III. Because we had, I think that's when we got Soleimani, General Soleimani from fucking Iran or Syria or one of those fucking countries with oil. One of those countries that's really hot and has a lot of oil.
Oh shit, one of those?
So we get that guy, we kill him, and then all of a sudden, there's talk about going to World War III. Oh shit, Trump might have just got us into a war. So now everyone's like, uh-oh.
Oh, and people thought there was gonna be a draft and shit.
Yep.
Oh man, people actually thought there was gonna be another draft.
Yeah, they were like, oh boy, we're gonna have to go to war and there's gonna be a draft. Here we go. And wouldn't you know, nothing happened. But we spent the month of January terrified that we were gonna go to World War III. And then, this just popped into my head too. I think North Korea threw their hat in the ring too in there. Because the main conflict was between the United States and, I don't know, let's just call it Iran.
It was Iran, I think.
And then I think North Korea was like, hey, you guys want to go to war? I don't know, we'll jump in.
We're not doing anything.
We don't have anything else going on. So I think because that was the threat of North Korea joining in too. So that took us through January. And then very quickly, we decided that World War III probably isn't the best idea. And we turned our focus to the Southern Hemisphere.
Real quick though, prediction: we are going to go to World War III in 2021, and the only people eligible for the draft are those not vaccinated.
Well, let's go.
Hot take.
Let's go. I'm not going to get vaccinated. Send me. So once February rolled around, we were like, hey, this is probably a problem because the entire continent of Australia is on fire. Like, a whole continent caught fire this year. If that wasn't foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
That was probably the peak.
That was like, hey,
that was the best period of time.
Yeah.
That we had this year.
That's the point in the movie where in like Deadpool, like Ryan Reynolds breaks character and like breaks the fourth wall and like winks at the camera and be like, hey, here comes some foreshadowing. February, an entire continent was on fire. Yep. So then we were all like, oh, what about Australia? We have to save Australia. Oh no, we have to do all this stuff. So everyone's focused on Australia, and we also had the Democratic primary process going on. Now, do you remember this? The very first one in February was Iowa. It was the Iowa caucus. And the result was delayed because there was
a tie, right?
Maybe a tie.
Yeah.
They weren't sure.
Wow, that was back in February.
There was a tie. It was Bukaki Judge and Bernie, right?
Yeah, that's where it all started.
Yep, and they were like, we don't really know who the winner is. We think it's probably a tie. And then people were like, what?
I wonder how you fast forward to November and had problems with the election.
Yeah, yeah. Where everyone was like, we don't know who the winner is, so we're just going to call it a tie. I think, didn't they give it to Bukaki Judge? Like, eventually?
I don't even know.
I honestly don't even know either.
They probably just waited until it didn't matter anymore, and then we're like, oh yeah, by the way, we have a winner now.
Yeah.
It's this guy who dropped out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the guy that dropped out. Yeah, he won. Cool, now no one cares. We don't have to actually count anything.
Yeah.
So that was February. So, we started off we started off white hot. We have the threat of World War III, and then we have a whole continent that catches fire. Where could you possibly go from there? Well, let's roll into March. In March, Syria bombed Turkey. And we were back on the World War III train. We forgot about it for the month of February because we were all caring about Australia. And then all of a sudden, Syria bombed Turkey. And we were like, oh boy, this is it. We're definitely going to World War III now. Could you imagine if we started a world war during a pandemic? Like a global pandemic?
Hey, guess what? Okay. The disease is real, but guess what would not have mattered?
Oh yeah, coronavirus.
No one would have given a fuck.
No.
It's like, oh, well, make sure you wear a mask and stay at home.
Yeah.
Because there's a disease. Yeah? Well, I'm watching a bomb fucking sail over my head right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm not gonna fucking care.
Yeah. Stay home, buy war bonds. Don't forget to buy your war bonds. So we had that, and World War III came back in. And then, also in March, there's a couple things that happened in March. A tornado went through Nashville and absolutely fucking demolished Nashville.
That's true. Bad year for Nashville.
Tough year. We'll get there too. So we got Nashville is in shambles. Turkey is literally blown up. And then, right around the middle of March, right around March 17th-ish, the United States shut down, or places started shutting down due to coronavirus. And this was
soft states, not real states.
Yeah. And this was the beginning of the whole lockdown period, where you and I sat at this very table and we were like, yeah, sure, whatever, what's it going to be? 4, 5, 6 weeks? 8 weeks max? Maybe 10 weeks before I lose my mind? And here we are 10 months later. Still dealing with this shit, but it's okay. And then, in March, I have everything's like bullet points. So my last one for March says, Italy killed by coronavirus. So Italy got pretty much wiped out by coronavirus. Because it turns out this thing was pretty transmissible, and it was only deadly to old people. And what does Italy do is, well, they still have all the old people that live with all the young people, because that's just their culture. So they were literally killing their own grandmas. And I think that's where it came from. I think the whole, like, you're gonna kill my grandma thing stemmed from Italy. Because they were actually killing grandmas.
Yeah.
So Italy gets absolutely fucking annihilated. All the old people in Italy are dead now. So that started in March. And then let's take it into April, where
I would actually be curious to see Italy's excess mortality.
Yeah.
And see it, like, how bad was it?
Right. So now that's in April, and my first point here is Kim Jong-un has his first death. Because Kim Jong-un died multiple times this year. But the one in April was just a trick to see who was actually loyal. Like, that guy's got some fucking balls. He literally faked his own death to see who in his cabinet was like, would remain loyal to him or not. And then the people that didn't magically disappeared. I think he allowed them to leave the country. I think that's probably what happened. He said, you're not loyal to me. I have a spy in my cabinet. Well, I'm gonna need you to leave the country, sir. Please pack your bags and be on your way. I think that's probably exactly how it happened. So we have Kim Jong-un died for the first time. Then in April, we had the CARES Act. The first stimulus checks came out, and everyone got $1,200 and subsequently went immediately to Lowe's and Home Depot. Because Lowe's and Home Depot had their greatest years ever.
Yeah.
Since they've been in business, 2020 was the most gross profit that they've ever had since their businesses began. So thank you to the CARES Act for that. We got our stimulus bill, and then everyone either got the checks immediately, or it took 6 weeks. I don't think I got mine until the first or second week in May. So then, April was when places started putting into effect a shelter in place. And then in parentheses here, I wrote, flatten the curve. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember flatten the curve? Remember that bullshit that they tried to feed us? Well, I mean, we have to shelter in place. We have to close everything because we just want to flatten the curve. That's it. We have to focus on flattening the curve. Look at Italy. Look at the spike in Italy. We don't want that to happen here, right? So we all have to stay inside and we all have to isolate because we just want to flatten the curve. And then once we flatten the curve, we'll be good. We can open up. It's cool. It's no big deal. This isn't a permanent thing we're going to try and do to you guys. We're not going to take away all your civil liberties. It's just a temporary thing here. Yeah. And we all just kind of sat here and fucking bent over and let him do it. I will say you and I fucking raged against the machine, but we're just fucking losers who do nothing. And
yeah, if you shared this with more of your friends,
yeah,
maybe everyone would have known.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
this is on you.
Back in April, when we were telling you guys to tell everybody you know about the show, that was the time to tell everybody you know about the show. Because we were fucking railing
single-handedly, we could have stopped all of this.
Sarcasm Speak could have changed the world, and it's no one's fault but your own. You fucking assholes that are listening and watching right now.
We're doing our job.
You didn't do your job. So, we had the shelter in place. That was fucking great, because we just wanted to flatten the curve. Then, in April, we had the first admission by the United States government that aliens are real. That was a Friday at 4 o'clock news dump. It literally was. It was, hey, by the way, the Pentagon just released aliens are real.
But here are the case numbers.
Yep, yeah, here, oh, look at all the cases they say. Oh, look, people are dying. Oh, we still have to flatten the curve. Aliens are real. Yeah, no, this is terrible. Look, we have to keep locking down. Everything is bad. Wait, sir, what did you say before?
Surely I didn't say anything about UFOs being real.
No, I said cases are really bad. No. Did you mention something about UFOs? I have no recollection of that.
I would never say UFOs exist.
Yeah, so that was April. We had our first admission that the United States knows that aliens are real. Huh, okay. Wonder where that's gonna go. Well, that's gonna take us into May, where we had the Hong Kong protests. Do you remember those too? We had people in Hong Kong were protesting because they were being oppressed by the Chinese government.
Imagine that, the Chinese government.
Yeah. And then we also had our first red herring of the year, which, I don't know, maybe we'll see how 2021 goes, because if your prediction is true and it just gets worse, maybe they make a comeback. But May was the murder hornets. that was like one of those you got like a television series that's like just too long, like when like the Marvel Defender series when they were like 13 episodes long, and we were talking about like probably could have done it in 10. Like that's where like episode 7 or 8, like right in the middle, and they're like, I don't know, we need a plot filler. Murder hornets. Yep. We're like, it's May, I don't know, just throw these fucking murder hornets in there. And then everyone was flipping out about that, and it turns out nothing happened, but whatever. It got us through though to the end of May, where we had the George Floyd situation, which sparked. This was on May 26th. Where the 4 cops in was it Minnesota or was it like Kenosha?
No, that was well, first of all, you just mixed Kenosha, Wisconsin into one word.
Yes.
This was in Minneapolis?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Minnesota?
Sure. Yeah.
I think it was in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it was one of those two. They're the same thing. One like
Twin Cities, right?
Yeah, Twin Cities. It's the same.
Kenosha, Wisconsin. Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, why not? So that was George Floyd, and that sparked massive protests and fucking riots and all kinds of crazy shit. Black Lives Matter fucking started getting massive and all that. Then you had the appropriate All Lives Matter fucking retort, which just made people look like dickheads. And that was that whole thing. That lasted for a while, because then we go into June, and we have BLM protests. That was like the theme of June. Like there were protests everywhere. Then, because it just wouldn't go away, we had another threat of World War III between China and India.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't even remember this.
China and India were like the the fucking thing that goes around on Instagram now and social media with like the 2 dogs that are like walking by each other. There's been multiple different like videos of it, but it's like the recorded thing where it's like, hey, what's your name? It's like, Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. That was literally India and China in June. They were like, yeah, we hate you. Well, we hate you more. Well, we have nuclear weapons. Well, we also have nuclear weapons. Well, do you want to go to war? I don't know, kinda. Like there was a legitimate threat of another World War III between China and India. And surprisingly, the United States didn't really get involved. Because I don't think we're particularly fond of either country. Or they don't really do much for us. Well, besides
make all our stuff?
Well, yeah. One of them makes all of our stuff, and one of them holds all of our call centers. So we lose all of our stuff and all of our phone lines.
I was gonna say, dude, they literally, like, both of, I was just, like, thinking, I go, both of those countries make all our shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
No wonder they were silent.
Yeah. So it's like, which one matters to us more? Taking our phone calls or making our shit? And then, as if India didn't already have a bad enough month as it is, they got hit with locusts. India had a massive locust problem. And their solution, release the ducks.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna release the ducks.
They were getting ducks imported.
They were importing ducks. I wish I was making this up.
I forgot about that.
The year that 2020 was. Seriously. It's a year that will go down in infamy.
I honestly, I don't know the answer to this. Is India landlocked, or do they have?
No,
okay, so they have water.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're on the Indian Ocean.
Fair. If you asked me, like, hey, is the Indian Ocean real or not, I probably would have said yeah. I would have.
Yeah. Oh, do you know the 5 oceans?
Yeah. Okay, so they can have ducks.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I'm like, where would you get ducks for like Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah.
They'd have to be all imported.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got a massive locust problem. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's get some ducks. Let's start importing as many ducks. You know what? We never heard like the trickle down from that. Like we didn't hear that there was a duck problem in India. Like all of a sudden, like there's too many ducks. Well, now what do we have to do? I don't know. Let's get some wolves in here. Or something. I don't know. What eats ducks? Like I don't know. What does eat ducks? Like, alligators?
Humans?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably what they did. They probably just ate them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're filled with locusts, but
yeah, I mean, it's fine. As long as they don't have coronavirus, they're not bats. Ducks are good. Peking duck? Oh, dude, everyone had Peking duck for Thanksgiving in India.
Probably. From their friends, the Chinese.
Yeah. So that was great. That was June. India had a very eventful month in June. And then also in June, it was announced at the DNC convention that Joe Biden would be their guy for the election that we would have in November. And everyone was like, huh? And everyone was like, wait, we had all these people that were like pretty good, and you chose the old rich white guy that was like racist once upon a time and like has these sexual misconduct allegations. So like everything that the woke left like stood for, they were just like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. We're taking this guy. Cool. All right. Sick. Which, knowing what we know now, if Sleepy Joe Biden beat Donald Trump, like you literally could have put anybody out there. Like for them to be afraid that like we have to go with a rich old white man to like win certain parts of the vote, like why didn't you just put
a real candidate,
Buttigieg out there, or
is he gay?
God forbid you put Tulsi. Like everyone with a fucking brain.
Is Mayor Pete gay?
Yeah, he is.
That I could see that being a problem because some of these you got to remember.
But
some of these states, man, they are fucking inbreds.
The state he wouldn't have won in those states anyway.
What, that Biden won? Didn't Biden win Georgia?
Trump. Oh, did he win Georgia? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe Bukaki Judge would have. I don't know.
Who won Ohio?
I think Trump, maybe.
I don't know the swing states.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I feel like Buttigieg would have been fine. He probably would have won. Just by the way that Trump handled everything from August to November.
Yeah. People
just really didn't like that guy. Which is also kind of funny too, because they've made this, Rogan has talked about this, and the guys on Drinking Bros have talked about this. Anybody that you talk to that voted for Joe Biden, not one of them is ever like, I really like his policy.
No, they just hate Trump.
It's like, well, why did you vote for Biden? And so one of the guys, Dan Holloway, who I love, he's super fucking intelligent, on Drinking Bros, he goes, I started asking people, tell me why you voted for Joe Biden without using the words Donald and Trump. And he was like, people were just like dumbfounded. Yeah. They were like, So like they literally, like Biden won off of hatred for Trump, not because he was a good candidate. Exactly. Which was it just proves that it's such a fucking, like they just dropped the ball. Like you could have actually had a good candidate. Because
you were probably gonna win regardless.
You were gonna win regardless. So get a good fucking candidate in there. Get Tulsi, you stupid fucks. I love Tulsi. I think she's fucking awesome. Like I said, even Buttigieg or Bernie, I don't give a fuck. Because none of his socialist shit was going to be able to get passed anyway. But he might have been able to do something.
He may not have actually won, though. He's too crazy going to one side.
Yeah.
That scares people.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Literally anybody. I don't remember anyone else that was in the race.
Not important.
Yeah. So that moves us into July, where we had the comeback of the bubonic plague. Remember that?
No.
People were reporting that the bubonic plague was coming back. They found cases of it in like fucking somewhere in Europe or like Asia or something.
Jesus Christ.
Some like random country they found the bubonic plague.
You know cats can carry that?
Yeah.
Like still to this day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the bubonic plague was like, wait a second, coronavirus is important? Whoa, we were the first.
Fuck off.
We were the first plague.
We were here 700 years ago.
Yeah. So they were like, hey, we're still here, motherfucker. And everyone was like, yeah, cool, we don't care about you anymore. You're too old. But we care about Biden. He's not too old, even though he's 7,000. Also in July, we had the capture of Ghislaine Maxwell, which brought back all the Epstein shit, and we did a whole fucking thing on it. And oddly enough, she was captured in New Hampshire, which isn't far from us here in Massachusetts, and she was held in Concord to start. She was then moved, but we haven't really heard much about her since then.
Nope.
So it's been pretty much on the hush-hush. She's been, I would imagine, cooperating with the FBI. So I don't know. Maybe some shit goes down. I have no idea. I can only hope. But Ghislaine Maxwell was a big thing because Jeffrey Epstein was a huge part of our 2019.
Yeah. Well, you just got to remember, so Trump's gone, so now no one's going to be like demanding to know what she knows.
Right.
Because now she might release some info about someone they like.
Exactly.
Where they would have taken the trade off.
Yeah.
But Trump's gone, so now it's like, that's it. All they wanted was, well, you were friends with Trump.
Right.
Tell us.
Right.
And then
they probably said, well, yeah, I was with Trump and I was with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, it's like behind the scenes, it was like, yeah, well, let me just give you a list of all current and former politicians.
Right.
And Trump, it's like, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, you have pictures of Trump with like kids, right? Nope. Yeah, you had conversations with him about kids, right? Nope.
Yeah.
No, but if you want to hear about, this former head of whatever.
Yep.
Oh, no, we don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, no. He's one of our guys.
Yep.
He's on our team. I bet you that's exactly how it went down. July was a big month. We had the bubonic plague, we had Ghislaine Maxwell, and then we also had the return of sports because they shut down sports in March, and we had no sports for like 4 months. And
we had golf in June.
Yeah, no, that's true.
NASCAR. Remember the golf and NASCAR days?
Yeah, we were betting on fucking NASCAR. I was fucking hot with the NASCAR bets to start. I was fucking ripping. And then, so sports came back, and then we kind of started to feel a little bit better about the world. We were like, all right, cool. There were still no fans anywhere.
What a fucking asshole.
But we were like, oh yeah, no, maybe this is hope. This is hope that things will go back.
I would never use that word.
Yeah, LOL. And then the last thing in July, oddly enough, shortly after collecting Ghislaine Maxwell, there was a conspiracy theory, is what it was dubbed, that Wayfair was trafficking children. Because there were pieces of furniture that you could buy on their website that would be like $20,000. So you could buy this like armoire that was $28,000. And if you've ever ordered anything from Wayfair, they're good, but it's not like high-end fucking quality.
Well, the other thing, like you could buy the same armoire for like $260
on a different website.
No, on Wayfair still,
okay.
but it just didn't. It had it was a different brand.
Yes. Yep. So then, what did people do that tried to poo-poo that idea? It's like, yeah, no, Wayfair's definitely shipping kids in cabinets, and it's like, no, you stupid fuck. They're not shipping the kids in the fucking furniture. The furniture is a front for the child. You dumb fuck.
Yeah, but you can't even fit a kid in a fucking armoire.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh yeah, no, Wayfair's definitely selling kids inside cabinets. Yep, yeah, that's exactly what people thought they were doing. Yep, people thought they were putting children inside the furniture because at the end of the day, the person that's buying the $30,000 cabinet,
Well, I kind of also want the armoire.
they really want the cabinet.
They also want that.
Like, oh my god, people are so fucking stupid. They will go to any lengths to like fit their narrative, and then magically, all of a sudden, the $30,000 furniture pieces disappeared. Wayfair did an investigation and found there was no foul play. However, the super expensive stuff was gone. So, I don't know. Say what you want. It was like 2 weeks after they got Maxwell, and then that was released. And it's like, I don't know, dude. I think there's some legitimacy to that. But again, what do I know? I'm just a fucking asshole.
Honestly, that one sounds too much for me.
It does. But why did it exist?
And
why was there a $28,000 cabinet?
I don't know. And then the other thing too with that is, why did some of those cabinet names match up to missing children names?
That was another thing too.
But I also believe that anybody can fake anything these days.
Yeah.
Dude, it just sounds crazy. And I know
Yeah.
everything sounds crazy.
It does, but the world of like trafficking is unbelievably elaborate.
Like, why would you use Wayfair?
Because no one suspects it.
But it's easy to find.
Yeah, but I know it's
Dude,
I know it's a cliche, but you
Plain sight.
You hide something in plain sight, and people are gonna miss it. Like, they don't look at it. That's why I feel like the capture of Maxwell led, like, she either knew something about it, or I don't know if she was actually the one using it to traffic, but if she knew about it, like if it was one of those like side deals where it's like, hey, we got you. It's like when you get captured. This is what happens. You like in the mobs and mafia and shit. You get captured and you flip on a rival family. It's like you work for the fucking Dataro cartel, and you get caught, and you're like, all right, well, what do you know? Well, I know the Mellow fucking cartel. They run shit through Wayfair. Check them out. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to give up your own people.
Right.
Like, you're going to give up the other guy. So, I don't know, maybe that happened. Like I said, like, the trafficking world is disgusting, but it's very elaborate, and people go to crazy fucking lengths to do shit. And I don't know. I think there was some credence to it, but that's just my opinion. But that was July. That was a cool month. August rolls around, and then we get the Jacob Blake situation, which was that Kenosha?
Maybe. Probably.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the other big one was in Kenosha.
I don't know, because Breonna Taylor was Louisville.
That one also didn't get covered nearly as much.
No. So
probably Jacob Blake.
Yeah, so we had July, kind of like, I think it died down a little bit for Black Lives Matter stuff, but then Jacob Blake happened, and then all of a sudden Black Lives Matter was back on the front page of everything, and everyone was protesting again, and everyone was rioting and all this shit. And I think it was right around this time, maybe, that people were flipping out over the lockdowns, but it was okay to riot.
Yeah.
You can't leave your house, but it's okay to leave your house if you're going to go protest.
Yeah.
It's, okay.
Yeah, and like even some of the rules that came out, it's like no gatherings of 20 or more.
Unless.
But a protest could be 100 or more.
Yeah. So that was that whole fucking thing there. And then we had the Beirut explosion in August.
The fertilizer?
The fertilizer factory. There was a giant plant that just made fertilizer and just held it all in one spot. And there was a mysterious fire that happened out of no fault of anybody's. And it just exploded, like a massive fucking explosion. If you guys remember the video, like, that shit was fucking huge. And it wrecked the whole fucking city. Like, the shockwave was gigantic. And everyone was like, yeah, no, it was just a fire in a factory. Like, that's it. And it just so happened that it was fertilizer. And, well, I guess you also can use fertilizer to build bombs, but that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it was just an accident. Well, okay, and then everyone just kind of accepted it.
What was the insurance premium? Did we know that?
Yeah, because at first, before it came out that it was fertilizer, people were saying it was a fireworks factory, and then like you watch the video and you're like,
That ain't fireworks.
there's no fireworks that are going off. Like if it were a fireworks factory, you would expect like fireworks to be coming out of it.
Not a fucking massive fireball.
Yeah, not a giant fucking explosion. So that happened, and then also
snakes start fucking
yeah.
curling out.
Then we ended August with more fires on the West Coast.
Yeah.
All fucking California and Oregon, Washington, wherever the fuck.
Stopped to Canada though.
Yeah. The fire stopped to Canada. Yeah. That's bad. Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. So we only had fires in the fucking on the West Coast. That was it. And it was caused by fucking coronavirus.
Oh, is that what lit everything on fire?
Yep. Coronavirus became an arson. And Canada was like, I don't know, we don't have fires over here. And it's okay. Fire doesn't cross borders, apparently. Fire didn't have his passport ready, so it couldn't go to Canada.
Yeah, I forget how all that shook out, but I do remember people saying that, like, oh, doesn't go over the border. And then people would respond like, yeah, this is a map of the U.S.
Yeah.
we don't have wildfire information for a different country. Oh, yeah, nope, the riots are doing this.
Yeah.
The rioters are lighting us on fire.
Yeah.
Some guy's sitting there with a torch.
I think August also started the massive exodus from California, because that's when California went into like super duper lockdown.
Double secret lockdown?
Yeah. And that's when they told Tesla that they had to shut down, and Elon Musk was like, if you close my business, I'm moving to Texas. And they were like, okay, so everyone in California has to shut down and stop business except for Tesla.
Yeah.
Like Tesla was the only company that was allowed to fucking operate because Elon Musk is big dick swinging. And Joe Rogan left California. All these fucking guys left California. Everyone just fucking dipped because they said this place fucking blows. So then that brought us to September. And here we go. The wildfire spread to Oregon in September. That was my first one. So they left California and made their way up to Oregon. And then also, this was when we found out there was life on Venus. Albeit, I think it was like microbial life.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But still, there's life on another planet that is in our solar system. So for you dickheads that think we are the only life in this entire universe, yeah, you're a dickhead. And in September, we also got the Breonna Taylor verdict, which
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Which I don't think was good.
Dude, they found, like, the police officers, like, not guilty, not responsible, or they dismissed the case, or something
like that, yeah.
What the fuck?
So then more protests happened.
Yes.
And riots and all that shit, so that was that whole thing. And then, to wrap up September, the old Ruth Bader Ginsburg kicked the bucket. And we hit our fucking death pool. Jones had it, right?
Yep.
I think. So we nailed our death pool once this year.
Couldn't save everyone.
Nope. And RBG kicked the bucket, and then there was a subsequent meltdown by everyone on the left that said, well, her dying wish was that she wouldn't be replaced until after the election. And then everyone was like, yeah, hold on, I'm struggling to find the page in the Constitution where you're allowed to leave a dying wish as part of like what your thing is. Like, you guys can fuck off.
Yeah, so in the Constitution, the president gets to nominate a new Supreme Court justice unless they have a dying wish otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. It's page 3, section 4, paragraph 2. Yeah, everyone knows that.
Actually, that might have been in the Articles of Confederation, and it just held over.
Yeah, probably. So then there was the whole issue of like fucking everyone was like, well, if Biden wins, are you going to pack the court? And then the people on the left were like, well, that's what Trump did. Trump just packed the court. And it's like, no, they actually didn't. We still have the same number of Supreme Court justices now that we did before he got in office. So by definition, he didn't pack the court. It's just not his fault that like 3 or 4 out of the 9 either died or retired while he was in office. Like, he was a one-term president. And he got to nominate fucking like 3 fucking Supreme Court justices. Like, it's just an anomaly, guys. Like, deal with it. I'm sure more people will die and retire.
Yeah, he tweets mean things.
Yeah, exactly. So we had that whole fucking meltdown. Took us through September. And then tensions start to rise again because we had Amy Coney Barrett and all that shit, which took us into October, which brought us with Trump contracting the coronavirus. And everyone was like, oh my God, Donald Trump, he's got the coronavirus. Is he gonna die? And everyone was like, he's not gonna fucking die. Like, anyone with half a brain. He goes to Walter Reed and he gets all kinds of fucking treatment that is not available to literally anybody else in the world except for the President of the United States. Like, that guy gets whatever he wants as far as like health care. Like, that guy can, they're not gonna fucking let him die.
Ooh, also, fun fact.
Yeah.
There is testing available to members of the government that supposedly is more accurate than anything available to the public.
Yeah.
It takes, I'm not kidding, like, you know, the rapid test is like 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like instant.
Yeah.
Like, up the nose, into a dish, instant answer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's out there.
The government has everything before. Like, that's a whole thing, like, as far as technology goes. They say, it's like a rule of thumb, or people talk about it at least, is that any new technology that comes out to the public, the government had it 10 years ago.
Yep.
So, I believe that 100%. So Trump got COVID, then he kicked it, and people were flipping the fuck out because he took a ride in a car while he had it. But everyone was wearing masks, and they were separated. But it didn't matter because they don't like him because he tweets mean things. So anyway, then we had the Walter Wallace shooting, which I don't remember exactly where that was. That Philly?
Who's
Philly?
I don't know this. Do I know this one?
Walter Wallace was. It might have been Philly. I have no idea. I'm making that up. I don't know where it happened. But it was a guy. Walter Wallace was in an altercation with his girlfriend. And it was a domestic violence. So the police show up on scene for a domestic violence. Walter Wallace had a knife in his hand and started walking towards police, and the police told him to put the knife down. He was frantic, he was flipping out.
Then he got in his car, right?
Maybe he reached in the car and then got a knife. I don't know. But he started coming at the police with a knife in his hand. So they shot him multiple times, and he ended up dying. So that was a whole thing. So there were more fucking protests and riots after that. Then we had floods in Vietnam and 2 massive storms that like wiped out like the whole fucking coastline in Vietnam.
I didn't even know that happened.
It was like underwater. And then we also had the earthquake in Turkey. Remember, Turkey got like fucking smacked. I think it was like an 8.5 on the old Richter scale in Turkey. So they got hit with a fucking bomb earlier in the year, and then they got hit with an earthquake in October. So Turkey is in great shape right now. And that takes us into November, which, hey, the one thing I have written in November is the election, because that in and of itself is just a massive fucking shit show. We did a whole 4-hour-long election episode. Biden won. Trump denied that he lost. They went back and forth. Trump starts suing a bunch of different states where he ends up eventually losing. It's like this whole thing. People still believe now on December 30th that Trump is still magically going to pull off a victory. Like, people are just let it go. It's over. Biden won. He's the president. Move on with your lives. So that was November. That was consumed by the election. Which then takes us to this month in December. And we had the massive cyber attack by Russia, allegedly. Russia says it wasn't them, but the government is pretty sure it was Russia.
Well, it's always Russia.
That was the there was a massive cyber attack on the U.S. government, and like a bunch of information was like compromised or something. Like that was like the first or second week in December. Then we had a new strain that was of the coronavirus that was found in the UK, and we also had a mysterious illness that was discovered in India.
Yep.
It was literally called mysterious illness.
Yep.
Like it's no name, no nothing, it's just a new thing in India. Sick. And then finally, to wrap it up, just literally a week ago, on Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve or Christmas Day in Nashville, they got hit with a fucking bomb. A guy literally drove like an RV that was filled with fucking bombs on the street in Nashville and then blew it up. So Nashville got fucked up this year too. Oh, who's in worse shape this year, Nashville or Turkey?
Obviously Turkey, but
Yeah.
Nashville's not doing great.
Yeah, Nashville definitely ain't doing great. So what a fucking year, huh? What a fucking year we had.
So we just went through all that, and I know it's now, it's relevant. Anyone who's living through it will remember it. I have a hot take though.
What you got?
In the grand scheme, and I've made this hot take before.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, this year is insignificant.
Yeah.
I
I believe that. I think like it'll be one of those things where like 40 years from now, people will be like, oh, remember 2020, like that year? And everyone will be like, yeah, that year sucked. But no one will actually be able to remember like that Turkey was bombed and there were ducks in India and all that shit. Like,
No, because
but you'll just remember coronavirus.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know, maybe 1996 fucking sucked. But like no one remembers it, but they just remember like, oh yeah, that was the year Bill Clinton got impeached. Or 97, whatever it was. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
You know, it's like one of those things. Oh yeah, he got blown by Monica Lewinsky. Like I would imagine that was a pretty big deal at the time.
yeah.
I think it was. I was way too young to fucking know anything about it, but it's gonna be like one of those things where it's like, yeah, like the year was fucking weird, man. Like that's whatever, you know.
Yeah, and this was back like, I don't know, probably halfway through the year. People would be like, oh, the history books about 2020 is gonna be crazy. I go, I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But now that's my hot take, because my hot take also assumes that nothing comes of what's happening.
Right.
Because I don't think it's gonna stop in 2021, but eventually we're gonna move on from COVID.
Right.
So in the year 2060, they're gonna look back and be like, oh, there was an illness for 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? Oh, everything went back to normal, which it would have to even, not even like normal, but like close.
Yeah. Would you call it a new normal?
No, I wouldn't. I for sure wouldn't. Because if you even think about 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Patriot Act came out after, and airport security changed and shit like that, but the big thing was the attack.
Right.
It was the terror attack.
By like 2007, everything was like, you know.
Well, because in this...
We were over.
And this is the thing. This is the thing with history is when you go back and you try to teach September 11th, 30 years from now, 2050.
Yeah.
You go back and it's like, all right, well, in 2001 there was a terror attack. It's like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how many people died? I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That sucks. All right, so what happened? Like, okay, so what else happened? It's like, oh, well, they had to, obviously there was a massive cleanup. It's like, well, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
They had to put some new rules into place for like flying, whatever. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's like, oh, and then we went to war in Afghanistan and Iraq. It's like, oh, well, what were those wars about? It's like, I mean, honestly, man, nothing really happened.
Yeah. There was supposedly some weapons of mass destruction that weren't really there.
Well, it's just like it's like Afghanistan. It's like, oh, well, what was the result of the war of Afghanistan? It's like, oh, well, the Taliban was out and like some new fucking Taliban was in.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what happened in Iraq? It's like, oh, we killed Saddam Hussein. They go, who's that? Oh, he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, like when you really boil these things down,
right? It's the same thing as like Benito Mussolini. Like, oh, we took him out of power. Oh, cool. Who was that again? Like that's like Saddam Hussein. All right, cool.
But here's the difference. When you think World War II, you have the Holocaust.
Right.
And then you have the guy who started the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Then you have his allies.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, I kind of see why that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, that guy was a massive piece of shit.
Right.
And these other countries decided to fucking side with him.
Right.
That's fucking borderline terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Stalin, it's like Stalin's numbers.
Yeah.
They're incredible how many fucking people he killed.
Oh,
you know, which they're never correct, but...
Yeah.
Like, World War One, it's like, you have all these countries at fucking war.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the Cold War, and it's like, I know it doesn't feel... So if you were alive during the Cold War and, like, alive and well, I'm sure it felt a lot more tense.
Yeah.
Because, like, you never knew. Like, you never knew if, like, the Soviets were going to fucking blow up the U.S. It's like... Yeah, even, like, looking back...
But you were prepared, because if they did, you were just going to hide under your desk. And your desk was going to protect.
But even now, that feels like a legitimate... That feels like a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
Like, Russia blowing us up. Yeah, that sounds like it was fucking very plausible.
Yeah.
Vietnam, a lot of fucking Americans died there. Like, a lot.
A lot.
For borderline no reason.
Yep.
That's why that's significant.
Yeah.
Korean conflict. I bet it was a big deal then. My grandfather served. Couldn't tell you why or why it's important or anything about it.
Yep.
And the only reason I probably know about the Korean conflict is because my grandfather served.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you anything about it. First Gulf War, know what happened.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you why.
Nope.
Couldn't tell you what the results were.
No. I think the result was we put Saddam Hussein into power.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You have to fight 2 wars for a net even.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Sick. But yeah, so I think that's my hot take. I think looking back at 2020 is none of this shit's gonna matter.
Yeah.
Now, if we have to wear masks forever, and the governors of every state can just decide that we're in lockdown or not in lockdown at the fucking whim of a decision, and if every time someone shows any symptoms of being ill, we have to not only go full detective and figure out why they got sick and how they got sick and who made them sick, instead of just being like, oh, you're sick? All right, well, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Or stay home.
Right.
Like it used to be.
Right.
Now it's like when someone gets sick, you have to do like all this shit. It's like report it and quarantine and stay home and who were you with? Who were you near? It's like,
yeah.
And like, if that goes on forever, then sure, you might remember this year. But even then, 50 years from now, that'll just be like what people are used to.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's all... It's also, we live in a weird time where everything is to the extreme. And it's not even just like, I don't even mean it like in political terms. I mean it as far as like, look at sports. Like, for the last like 10-ish years, anything that happens in sports, well, it's the greatest that's ever been. LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Mike Trout is the greatest baseball player of all time. Like, and it's not even like, it's the guy that's good, the best right now is automatically the greatest that's ever been. So it's like, whatever happens right now is automatically the worst that it's ever been. Like, this year was the worst year we've ever had. You know what I mean? It's that type of mentality that I think is carrying people through right now. And I think that's just where they're at. And it's just, you know, like I said, like we see it in sports right now. It's, this guy is the greatest ever. Where right now we say that about Mike Trout, but like 7 years ago, it was Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols is the greatest baseball player of all time. And then literally 7 years later, we get Mike Trout. Well, Mike Trout's the greatest baseball player. Well, Albert Pujols is still in the league. Like, I thought he was the greatest of all time.
Yeah, just remember, Babe Ruth wasn't a unanimous selection to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, it's dumb shit like that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, people that are really good right now are automatically deemed the greatest that have ever been. And it's like, that's not necessarily the truth. Like, just because it's the greatest in your lifetime doesn't mean he's the greatest that's ever been.
Well, then you have like greatest. Then people put qualifiers on greatest whatever.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, well, Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback, and Brady's probably the best winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Pat Mahomes probably has the best arm.
Right. But this is what I mean. Like it takes into that. Like it's that same sort of mentality where it's like, oh, 2020 was so bad, it's the worst year that's ever been. It's the craziest year we've ever had. Well, it might be like the quote worst year you've had recently, but I would be willing to bet that if you lined up 100 people and actually like detailed every single part of their life, like adults now, every single part of their lives between 2020 and then like 2008, 2009, I bet you at least 51 out of those 100 people had a worse 2008 to 2009 than they did in 2020. Because that was the recession. That was, the country was literally in fucking shambles. Yeah. Like, we were really kind of too young. Like, we were in high school.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So, like, it didn't really affect us. But, like, it was bad. Like, from what I hear, at least, because, like I said, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. But I would imagine that at least 51 out of those 100 people probably felt like they had a worse 08, 09 than 2020.
Yeah, because I know the pandemic is inconvenient, but losing your job and your entire 401k and retirement and all that crap is way more inconvenient.
Yes. Yep. So, I don't know. That's just one of those things where like people, like I said, people just immediately go to this is the best that's ever been or the worst that's ever been. It's like, no, you need to fucking relax and maybe use some fucking perspective here. But who am I?
Some asshole.
Yeah. So, you got a final thought? Wrap this up?
Yeah. I'm putting my resolutions out there again.
Oh, let's go.
These ones might actually be somewhat fucking difficult. Last year's really weren't that difficult. So, I've already put it out there. I'm gonna swing a golf club 130 miles an hour. Because everything I'm picking right now is what's really important. Yeah. Like, everything is it's essential stuff. It's all important stuff. With everything that's going on in the world, this is the stuff that matters. So I'm going to swing a golf club 130 miles an hour. I'm also going to hit 50% of my greens, and if I don't, it's fucking classic Gary's fault. Because that's what I told him, and he's supposed to guide me to fucking glory. But then, and I do actually feel this way, but it was expedited by a hammered fucking blaze I was in on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day night, yes.
The second we can, we're going to New Orleans. Yeah. And those are my resolutions. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to next year. Yeah. I fucking hope we will, but...
Remains to be seen.
I don't know. I don't see this stopping anytime soon. Yeah. I only see it getting worse. Yeah. And I don't know if there's anything anybody can do about it. So, God willing, New Orleans next year. Yeah.
We'll see.
You know what, though? Honestly, I put it like 50-50.
Yeah.
Whether we'll be able to go or not.
Yeah. I am hoping that by the summertime, we'll be past this. I think it's going to take until like July. I think like 4th of July. Weird. Because, here we go. Here's another bold prediction. If, on top of my Biden is going to die in March, if things start to get better by the 4th of July, the United States is going to dump all their fucking UFO information, and then we're going to get attacked by aliens.
Fucking hope we do.
The Galactic Federation that lives on Mars.
Oh, that's true. We talked about the Galactic Federation.
Yeah. They have a bunker on Mars. So.
Yeah, I'm not overly optimistic.
Yeah.
Or skeptical that anything's going to get any better.
Yeah.
I genuinely, as shitty as 2020 was, I do think 2021 will be worse.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how yet.
Yeah.
But
aliens would probably be worse.
Not really. I mean, at least
it would be over.
Yeah, but I'm like, with the way the pandemic's going, like there was a time where it looked like we were gonna get past it. Mm-hmm. Not even close.
Yeah. No.
Not even close.
Yeah. So let me see. My final thought. You know what? I'm gonna roll with this. Fuck it. So we talked about before. This was like last week, maybe I don't know however many episodes ago. What a sham like Christmas has turned into, because and I had said like, oh, I enjoy Christmas for like the fact that everyone gets together and like all that shit, but like fuck off with the gifts and fuck off with all your other bullshit. It's stupid. It's like people are expected to buy gifts for people, whatever. Outside of that, I actually enjoy Christmas. Well, not only not shortly thereafter did I utter those words on these very airwaves, that Christmas Day rolled around, and what a fucking shit show. So I wake up, on Christmas morning, and it's like, just hanging out a little bit, just fucking sitting around. Well, then my phone rings at approximately 9 a.m., and it's a phone call from my mother. And she is hysterical that she is just been told that we have to put our dog down. The dog that I've had for 14 years, we got him shortly after my dad died, and the dog it's a dog. Like, I fucking love dogs. We've all said dogs are better people than people.
Yep.
Like, it is what it is. So I'm like, fuck. So it's 9 o'clock. I literally, like, sporadically get dressed, throw my fucking sweatshirt on, like, grab my shoes, and I run out the door. I'm at Amy's house, too. Like, I'm at Amy's. So we're supposed to do Christmas morning and open gifts and do all this shit. And at 9 o'clock, I am bolting out the door. Oh, by the way, if you don't live around here, Christmas here was pissing rain.
Yeah.
It was like a fucking monsoon. So I get in my car, and I promptly do about 80 to 85 miles an hour, most of the way to Manchester, New Hampshire, because my mom lives in Salem, and the nearest open vet hospital was in Manchester, which is way further north. So I made it from North Attleboro, Massachusetts, which is on the Rhode Island border.
Like basically Rhode Island.
To Manchester, New Hampshire in an hour and 15 minutes. In the pissing rain. It was literally like I was looking at the ground. I think I said this to you, and I was like, all right, where are there puddles? All right, there's a puddle there. All right, I gotta let off the gas. Because I was like, I'm either gonna get there in record time, or I'm gonna wrap my car around a fucking tree because I'm in a hydroplane.
Yep, not that lucky.
So I get there. I get to the vet hospital. We get there, and then it's literally like the tech meets us in the parking lot because we're not allowed in the building. So they walk us over to this like little patio area. They're like, all right, like, we're going to go get the dog. Like, we gave her some pain meds, whatever. Like, so she's going to be a little groggy, might be a little out of it, but she's alert. Well, the time that I got there, the tech met us to go back inside. My dog died on her own. She just went and was like, all right, cool. So then the doctor comes out and tells us that. And then it's like, it's shitty. So they bring the dog out. My mom's there, whatever, she does her thing and then leaves, and then I wanted to sit with the dog, so I got to hold her, like, all that bullshit, but I'm like, fucking Christ, man, like, I'm losing my shit, like, it's my fucking dog, like, this dog has been in my family for 14 fucking years, so I get through that, I go back to my mother's house, we hang out at her house for a little bit, we just eat lunch, hang, and I leave by, like, I don't know, like 1:30-ish. So I'm like trying to gather my fucking shit together, and I get back to North Attleboro because everything is still at Amy's house. Like, I literally like put on a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt and my hat and shoes and like ran out the door at 9 a.m. So everything is still there. So I go back, and we're supposed to go to her brother's house for Christmas. So I get back, and her mom's car isn't there, and I was like, oh, maybe they just went and, like, I don't know. I was like, I don't feel like meeting them there. I'll probably just grab my shit and, like, go back home and just fucking start drinking or something. But I get in, and obviously, like, I finally, like, the whole car ride back, I finally am, like, fine, okay, whatever. And then as soon as I walk in the door, Pickett runs up to me and starts jumping on me, and I fucking lose my shit again. And I start fucking crying like a little bitch again. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I kind of knew, I kind of expected it, but like, whatever. So I'm like, God damn it. So I'm there, and I'm like, oh, where's your mom? Well, it turns out that Amy's mom ended up having a nice little hospital stint because she, I don't know, she got sick and had something going on, and the hospital would not release her because while she was there, she spiked a fever. So my Christmas Day was finding out that my dog was about to be put down. We were going to have to put my dog down, fly up to New Hampshire, have the dog actually die, turn around, go to my mother's, come back home to North Attleboro, find out Amy's mom was in the hospital, and that the two of us spent the rest of the day literally just kind of like doing absolutely nothing. Like literally nothing. We didn't even exchange gifts until like 9 o'clock that night. It was like, because neither one of us was in the mood. We were just like, I don't know, do you want to open gifts? We're like, yeah, we should probably just do that. And it was like, what the fuck? What a very 2020 Christmas it was. And now I kind of don't like Christmas. Now, as much as I said I enjoyed Christmas 2 weeks ago, kind of don't really like it anymore. Kind of think it's a bunch of bullshit now. So, we just went through the entire year of 2020. That was the world. Well, I gave you my wrap of 2020 in my last week here.
Capped it off pretty strong.
Yeah, going out real strong. So that was that. What a fucking year, huh?
Yep.
Well, luckily 2021 is going to be my year.
Yep. Everything will be better. Everything's gonna be fixed.
Everything's going to be better.
Because once it turns 1/1/21, everything that happened this year just like stops and goes away.
Yep. And magically everything just gets better. So still waiting. Still waiting.
Been waiting a long time.
Been waiting a very long time. Been waiting since 1/1/20. Well, this was our third New Year's episode.
Imagine that.
Yeah. That being said, if you want to bet on anything,
bowl games.
Weekend, yeah, we got bowl games. We got the New Year's 6 bowls coming up.
Should have 2 playoff games on New Year's, right?
Yep. We're gonna have Alabama absolutely crush Notre Dame. So when you want to get those bets in, make sure you go to mybookie.com, type in our promo code SarcasmPod, and that will match 50% of your first deposit and get you a $20 free play. So that's SarcasmPod on mybookie.com. Shout out to those guys. So get your bets in. You can also bet on, are there basketball games? Do they do New Year's Day basketball games?
I don't know.
Or is that just Christmas?
I don't know if anyone has state or takes a claim to New Year's Day.
Yeah. It might just be college football.
Well, they might have it too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's like a definite yes or no.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely have Christmas Day.
Right.
I don't know about
Right.
New Year's Day.
Yeah. And we got week 17 of the NFL too, so make sure you get those bets in too. This is our last week of the regular season. So shout out to my bookie. And so that's gonna do it. That's it. That's us. It's that's our 2020 Wrapped. Fuck your Spotify Wrapped. This is Sarcasm Speaks 2020 Wrapped. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, click like and subscribe. That was part of the Death to 2020 thing last night that you guys need to watch. So definitely click like and subscribe to the video. Thank you wherever you're listening, whatever streaming service you're on, make sure you subscribe there. If you're on Apple, leave us a review and also give us 5 stars. All the interaction helps with the visibility rankings and all that stuff. Tell everybody you know. We already said it. We could have saved the world. We could have stopped all this bullshit back in April if you assholes told everybody you know about the show to listen to us, because we are prophets and we are the smartest people in the world and we know everything and we can solve the world's problems. But we can only do that if we get more listeners. So you guys need to tell people about us. Share the word. You can find us on Instagram at SarcasmSpeaksPod. We are on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. and our Facebook page is Sarcasm Speaks. So until next year,
hey, see you next year.
I had to get that joke in. That stupid fucking joke.
It's a gut buster every single time.
Yep.
Every time.
Yep, every single time. Well, we'll see you next year. Good night, everybody.